Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is the second episode of the Study Abroad series, and today we're going to talk about documentation. I think it's really important. As soon as you make up your mind that I'm going to study abroad, you have to start preparing your documents because some of the documents take time, and it's really important that you have everything ready before you start applying for the universities and later on for the visa. So your chances of getting accepted into the university and getting the visa early increases. So these are the documents that I'm going to talk about today, and you know me that I go into details of everything. So today as well, I'm going to talk about each and every document in detail, like how to get it, how to apply for it, what you have to include in your documents. This is, I think, really important that I go into detail of everything, because I feel like most of the videos you see on YouTube, and when I was applying, this was also one of the things missing, that they talk about the document, but they don't talk about certain things, which I think is really important for you to know. So I'm going to include those things as well, and frequently asked questions as well. It is going to be a little bit long, I guess, because there are lots of documents, but I will include everything in it, so you don't have to go to Google or random groups to search for your answer. I like this line, I just like to say it, but this is kind of my motto in every video, and I try to give as much information as I can. And also, if I miss anything, you can ask in the comment, and I will reply to each and every comment the way I did in the last video as well. And I think it's really important that you are in the communities and in the groups where people are also applying, and you get updated information. So one of the group is my Telegram group, so you can go there and check out. Link is in the description. So without further ado, let's start the video. The first document you have is your passport. Passport is really important because it is needed in every application. This is your international identity document. So without passport, you cannot even fill out the form. It will not let you fill out the form. So this is really important, that if you are thinking that I will apply for the passport after I get admission, that's not going to work, because I used to think this back then as well, but that's not the case. You have to have your passport in order to apply for any kind of application. So for the application of the passport, every country has their own, criteria, institution. So back in my country, we have two kinds of passports. There is a 36-page and 72-page passport. But I think 36 page is more than enough. This is my 5-year-old passport, and I still have some of the, pages empty. And keep that in mind that I traveled a lot, and I still travel a lot. I have my passport basically kind of full, I would say 80%, but this is for the past 5 years, I still have some pages left. I think it should be enough for you to have a 32-page passport. So now the second document you need is your passport size photo. Passport size physical photo is more for when you are going to apply and submit your, physical document. But I think it's just good to have your passport size photo in two backgrounds. One is the white background and second is your blue background. So most of the embassies, they want the white background, but most of the universities, they want blue background. So I would just say get, 12 copies of both in a way, and get the digital, version of it as well. So when you're applying for, the application online, you have the digital version of that. And when you're applying physically, when you're submitting your documents physically, you have the physical ones as well. So yeah, that's it for the photos. Now people also ask this question, do I have to be formal in the photos? Should I have a suit and a tie? It's not a requirement. It's good that you have it, but it's not a requirement. So if you look good in the t-shirt, that's more than enough. You don't have to wear a suit. Let's talk about document number 3 and 4 together, degrees and transcript. So degree is simply your qualification, which basically says that you are qualified in that field. For example, if you have done high school qualification, it basically says that you have fulfilled the requirements of your high school. So in case of bachelor's and master, it would say that you're a professional in that field. And it also has your accumulated GPA or the accumulative grade that you get in your high school. So this is the degree. Now, transcript is basically your score sheet of your subject. So it has the detail of your subject, so all the names, and it also has the marks or the grades that you get in those subjects. Now, back in my country, this transcript is basically the result that we get. It's usually called a result of the subjects. So it has all the subject names and the marks or the grades that you get in those subjects. So that's your degree and that's your transcript. Now, the frequently asked question in this section is, can I apply without having the original certificates, original degrees? The short answer is yes, you can apply. Online, when you're filling the forms, you can apply without having these physical copies of these documents. Now, keep that in mind that eventually you would have to have the original documents. So you need the original diploma or the degree, and you need original transcripts, which would be notarized, or in other words, recognized by the competent authorities in your country. So what is the process for getting these original documents and getting it recognized? For example, back in my country, you have to wait a little bit before getting the original diploma or degrees from the education board of the province or the state. You can simply apply for it urgently. You have to pay a little bit more fee to receive these documents earlier than the usual normal processing days. And I would highly recommend you guys to do it, because that is a really important thing, because once you have the original documents, then you can actually send them for notarizing and getting it recognized by MOFA and the Board of Education. So it's really important that you get these documents, the original versions, as soon as possible. So you basically have to go to the Board of Education in your city or in your region, and you just go there and ask that you want urgently these documents, the original versions of these, and they will ask you for the fee and application, and you submit it, and hopefully it will come less than, I think, 15 days or 20 days it takes. So you get it as soon as possible. Once you have these original documents, you go back to your Board of Education and get it recognized by them. So they basically stamp it. And then once they're stamped, then you can send it to MOFA, which is Ministry of Foreign Education in Pakistan, and they basically are responsible for notarizing these documents. So this is really important, that eventually to get the admission and acceptance letter, you would have to have these documents notarized, and you would have to send the digital copies of these documents back to the university as well. So that's really important that you do these things as soon as possible, even if you haven't got any response from the university, but it's good that you have these documents notarized. So your process would be faster and you would not have to delay your admission in any way. That can also be a case where the university doesn't ask for it, but eventually when you go for the visa interview, you have to have these documents notarized. You have to have these documents recognized by your country. So that's really important that you have this in mind. When you're going to the visa interview, that's the basic requirement by the embassy, that you have these documents notarized and recognized. So it's really good that you do it as soon as possible. Just don't wait for the university or the acceptance letter or someone to say you that you have to do it, because that's going to delay your process. So it might cost you your admission or application or visa. So yeah. Again, if I have missed anything regarding the degrees and transcript section, you can always ask me in the comments, because I'm really tired right now and probably I have missed something I don't remember. But yeah. Also, let's move on to the next document, which is the language proficiency. Now, language proficiency simply means that university requires you to have the proficiency in the language that they're going to teach in. For example, under Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, there are certain programs which are taught in Portuguese, Spanish, French. So you have to have the language proficiency in that language and you have to show it. So most of you guys, I'm pretty sure you're applying for the English programs. So to show the English proficiency, there are two ways. One is something called English Proficiency Certificate. Simply, it is a certificate which states that you have done your previous high schooling, bachelor degree, or master degree in English. So the way to get it is simply you go back to your previous institution and ask them to give you this certificate, which would simply state that this student has learned all of the subjects in our institution in English and he can speak conversational English or English very well, depends on the certificate. And again, this is not a new thing for them. Many students ask for this, so don't be awkward or don't be shy of going to them and asking for this certificate. Some, schools or high schools, if they don't know about it, just give them some examples. I probably would put my proficiency certificate in the description, or I would show it here so you can basically have a sample of what you have to ask them to add into the certificate. So that will be your English proficiency certificate. Now, when I was applying back in 2021, I was just not applying for the scholarship. I was applying all around the world, and most of the universities around the world, they don't require IELTS. They are okay with the English proficiency certificate just for the admission, of course. Now, if you would go to the visa interview, some of the embassies, they actually ask for the IELTS, so that's different case. But for the admission, most of the universities are okay with the English proficiency certificate. Of course, if you're going to an English-speaking country, for example, Australia, Canada, UK, they ask for IELTS mostly. It's good if you can do it. It's better. It makes your profile better. But most of the universities are okay with the English proficiency certificate. Now, in Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, there are certain countries which are exempted from having IELTS. So for them, English proficiency certificate is okay. And there are certain countries which have to do IELTS. So just make sure to ask your program coordinator to get the updated information and check the program requirements, of course. Okay, so the second option is the English language exam. What I would recommend is you do IELTS over TOEFL, because IELTS have more study material available on the internet and it's like more acceptable, more recognized. So just go for something above 7, because 6.5 is okay, but it's good that you have 7 bands. And also overall, it makes your profile stronger. For example, examiner would certainly choose you over someone who has the English proficiency certificate, because it basically, means that and you have done it recently, because this IELTS exam is also valid for, I think, a year, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's always good. And it's also good for you as well, like you do an exam, you increase your language skills. And trust me, once you come here and if you know the language, it's really easy to navigate. It's really easy to make new connection. It's really easy to study as well. I personally felt it, because when I came here, I was not a good speaker of English. I was kind of, you can say, terrible for the first semester. I didn't speak well. So, I got used to it. I had international friends, which basically helped me to practice more English. And now I would say like I have good English skills and I'm really fluent in it. But that's the thing, like it's really good that if you have a chance and if you have time, you do IELTS, and it would increase your language skills, and then you can of course more nourish it once you're here, and overall it helps in more ways. So to do IELTS, you simply have to go to their website and book for their exam. And on their website, you can also find study material. There are lots of videos with which you can prepare. There are like workbooks as well for IELTS. So there is a lot of stuff for it. So you can really easily, study by yourself and just go and do an exam and get the IELTS done. So just to let you know, I'm going to make a separate video on how you can improve your English skills, because I was not a good speaker when I came here. So I'm going to share all of my experience, like how I increased my English skills and how I became fluent. And I'm pretty sure like my insights would be really helpful to you. I'm going to share all the resources. I'm going to share all the tricks that you can use. And I'm really excited for that video, because that's kind of a more personalized video that I'm going to share my experience. And this is one of the things that I'm kind of proud of that I did. Like I actually got really fluent, and I would show you my video as well when I came here and how I used to speak and where I am right now. So I'm really excited for that video. And of course, this is going to be 6th or 7th episode, so wait for that. The next document is the motivation letter. So the thing is, I have a whole separate video on motivation letters, so there is no point of me talking about it in this video. You can go and check that video. Like, I explain every scenario, every single detail, and I think motivation letter is a really important document, and most of the students, they have problems in it. So I would highly recommend you to go watch my video and watch it fully to get to know like what exactly you have to add in your motivation letter. And it's a really important document. Please guys, make sure that your motivation letter is good. Just to be on the safer side, you have to prepare it very well. So yeah, go watch the video and your motivation letter would be okay. So let's move on to the next document, which is CV. So CV or resume, you would hear this word interchangeably. These are optional documents for most of the bachelor's degree, but they're required for the master's and PhD degree because those degrees are more professional degrees in a way. Now, I would say this in my motivation letter video as well, that the reason why they ask you for a motivation letter in CV is because the examiner hasn't seen you. So just to get the idea about who you are, what your background is, what you have done for your whole life, they ask for these documents. Basically, motivation letter is how you see yourself, what are your ambitions, what are your goals for the future. CV is to get them idea, what have you done in your whole life up until this point. So I'm going to make a separate video on CV as well. I'm gonna go through all the steps of how you can include different things and where to include them, but not to include, what to include. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to add some of the samples that I like, so you can go and check them out and make the CV according to them. But just to give you an overall information, what you have to include is your personal information, the qualifications you have, the voluntary experience you have, the certifications you have, your hobbies and your skills. These are some of the important things. And of course, your language, I just forgot about it. But yeah, for now, I think this information and sample would be enough for you to start making your CV. And hopefully by the time we are done with all the other documents, I'm going to make a separate video about the CV as well. Now let's move on to the next document. So the next document is the references and publications. In master's and PhD, these are compulsory kind of documents that you have to submit. Now, of course, for publications, whenever you do your thesis or, you're doing master's and PhD, you are doing research and you have these publications ready, so you just share with them. So the next thing are the references. So it can be a letter and it can be basically an email as well. It depends on the university. Some of the university, they want their references in form of an email. So basically they ask you to send the information of your professors. Usually it's 2. So you send the information like their name and email, and the university send email to them basically asking for their references directly. So this is also one of the things that some of the universities do that. But some of the universities, they just ask for the reference letters, which basically you would ask your professor to write a reference letter for you, which would also include their email as well, or any contact number that the university can actually, if they want to, they can ask the professor whether this reference is legit or not. So yeah, that's how you will get the reference letter, and that's how it's done. So the next document is the medical certificate. This is the certificate which basically would show your health condition. So for example, if you're fit, if you have any illness, if you have any injury, or most importantly, if you have any disability. In that case, university would put this into consideration as well, because most of the universities, they also have some seat reserved for differently abled person. So in that case, to show that as well, it's helpful that you get this medical certificate and submit it to the university. This is another compulsory document, so you have to go to your doctor, whatever GP you have in your country, you get the stamped and signed from them. So the universities usually give the sample papers, a sample medical paper. You have to fill that form and get it signed by any GP in your area. And that's your medical certificate. And let's move on to the next document. So these last two documents that I'm going to talk about are more of a visa documents, but some of the universities, they ask for it, so I was like, it's better to include in this video. So the first document is the character certificate, which basically shows that you're a good citizen of that country and you haven't committed any crime. So usually you get it from the police department of your country. Back in my country also, we get it from the police department. And in my country, this is more of a document that is needed for international application. So that's why they also ask which country are you going to, and they mention that country on this character certificate as well. So the second document, which I would say is more common than character certificate in the university application, is proof of financial means, or bank statement usually it's called, which basically would show that you have enough financial means to pay the tuition fee for the duration of your studies and also manage your living expenses in that city or country. But good news for scholarship students, that their award letter would be their proof of financial means, so they don't have to have certain amount in their bank statement. Your award letter would be your proof of financial means, both in the admission and your visa application. So that was it from the documentation section. Of course, there are certain visa documents that I have to explain, but that would be in the visa application and interview video. And I want to thank you guys so much for 1K subscribers. We hit it, I think, a day ago or 2 days ago. And I want to just say thank you so much, and keep supporting, keep sharing the videos. And this actually motivates me to make more better quality videos and more videos. So if you want me to be quick making the videos, just keep subscribing, keep liking the video. About 91% of the viewers are not subscribed. So guys, it doesn't take that much time. Please subscribe, just one click the notification bell as well. It would motivate me to make more videos. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Until then,